call this meeting to order. This is the town council meeting for the town of Kensington for Tuesday, June 7th, 2022. First item on the agenda is pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any items for anyone want to bring up anyone for the moment of silence? Bring up the events and family. Like to keep them in our thoughts and prayers. Anyone else?
The family of the bicyclist who was killed on Old Georgetown Road,
Okay.
Enzo Alvarenga, his family.
Anyone else?
I think Jack.
Oh, Jack, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jack. You're on mute, Jack.
Now can you hear me?
We got you.
Great. I have good news. TJ O'Malley is back home. He's up and around. And on the weekend, he took three barrels of garden cleanup out to the curb.
Wow. Jack, I have even better news. TJ came to the election last night. He and Julie came. So he made it last night and voted. So it was good to see him.
I'm really glad to hear that. Thank you.
Yeah. So I actually ran into Julie in the Safeway this afternoon, and she's fattening him up, she said. So he needs to gain some pounds. But she says he's doing very well.
That's really good to hear. Thank you.
Yep.
I need to make a motion to ask Julie to lay off him for yard work.
I know, right? No, that's great. It was really good to see him. I haven't seen TJ in quite a while. So thank you, Jack.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Alex, you got someone in the waiting room.
Come in. Okay. All right, well, if we could just bow our heads for a moment of silence. Okay, thank you very much. We'll keep moving down from the mayor and town council. First item on the agenda is the. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not bold. I was looking for the bold stuff. All right. Yes. Sorry. Thank you. We will be approving the minutes. Council, you all received copies of the minutes. I believe there was only one edit that I saw for the June 1st. It's just a time change. So if there are no other edits, if someone wants to make a motion on the first meeting minutes for May 9th.
I'll move to approve the town council meeting minutes from May 9th.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. Town council meeting, special town council meeting minutes for June 1st. I don't think there are any further edits. No, someone will make a motion.
Move that we adopt the meeting minutes from the special town council session of June 1st.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, now we'll go down to the mayor and town council. The first item on the agenda is announcing the results for our June 6th town election, which was held last night. I was uncontested, so the mayor, as mayor, I will be returning for another 2 years. And then as our council members, we're happy to welcome Ann Lichter as one of the winners, as well as our incumbent Nate Ingle. So congratulations. And I want to thank John Gerson for his candidacy and putting all the time and effort it takes into putting into an election. And I want to thank everybody. It was a very civil and a really good turnout. And so thank you all for taking that time, because I know how much time it does take to run an election. All right, number 2, town council meeting. That was, and I were, now that we're in person, I think the audience or our residents seem to virtual. So I think we've got that. So we were thinking about, and we can set this at our meeting in July, our organizational meeting, on maybe setting a schedule that we kind of go back and forth from hybrid to doing all virtual, particularly in the winter time. So our staff doesn't have to slug it home, you know, for an hour plus.
Sorry.
I know, it's okay. So the council is open to that. I think, I definitely think our residents have enjoyed the virtual aspect of staying at home. We've all got used to that, but it is good to come together more than occasional. All right, so we would like to, one thing we are proposing is that we would do our organizational meeting in person. And hopefully we can schedule a time, and for you at organizational meetings when we come together and we divvy up the committees and talk about, you know, maybe setting some goals for the town for the year. So we would like to do that in person and probably do it over, have a dinner. We could do it around 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So.
We're gonna do the same, like July 11th,
Well, I don't think,
prior to the.
no, I think we should separate it and then
Okay.
do the July town meeting virtual.
Okay, perfect.
So I don't know whether you want to set the date now. Okay, go ahead, raise away.
Because Monday is the 4th,
Mhm.
and I just feel like we could do the organizational prior to the regular meeting on the 11th,
Okay,
and so we have one meeting back to back. That way,
Maybe
everybody
the
has
same
travel.
night.
Same night,
Yeah.
on the 11th, that way people who travel over the 4th could
well, I
travel.
would not have scheduled it on
But maybe some of them are particularly indulgent. and
They wanna stay longer?
Week of the 4th.
That would be
So the second Monday,
Would you be back by the 11th?
Yeah.
But I'll be gone the week of the 4th.
Okay, is everybody around on the 11th? Just trying to make it not quite such a long day for the
So I
staff.
guess normally it would be the 11th. that's the
Yes.
second
Yes.
Monday.
right,
We just had some years where it would be that week. And great, 11th it is.
Can we do it at 5?
I'm good with that.
So we can have lunch or dinner, excuse me, have dinner?
That's fine.
Okay, then take a break. Does that work? Okay. I think we skip down to the organizational meeting real quick, so. So we've already solved that problem. So July 11th at 5 o'clock. And then we'll have a meeting at 7, town meeting at 7. So, of course, anyone is invited to the work session. You can't speak, but it is an open meeting. And
So where are we gonna have dinner?
we will probably have it in the conference room.
No, where are we getting it from?
Is that gonna determine whether you come or not?
Maybe an incentive down.
Monday's actually tough because a lot of our restaurants are closed.
Because last time I think.
Yeah,
Sandwiches, right?
yeah, there's, well, there's the option, everything at Kensington Shopping Center is open, there's a Hibachi Express. It's delicious. I just, there is Hibachi Express, that actually might not be a bad choice, but we'll figure that out.
Come
and
and
get back
observe. You can watch us eat.
to it. Well, those meals are big enough for 2, so just. Speak for yourself. Okay. All right, so then we can discuss this at the organizational meeting, but I would like to hope that we could make the August meeting virtual for the staff to have an opportunity not to have to stay late. We will discuss a calendar, we'll present one at the organization. Okay,
And maybe prior to that, I could give a little thought, because I mean, I love more people participating
mhm,
with the chat. I think other municipalities have figured out how to work the chat so that people aren't like interrupting the meeting with comments. And because there's a portion of from the public.
you mean to delete the chat?
I don't know. I mean, I hate to put it that way, but
Yeah, I mean, other municipalities they turn it off as a function just because.
Well, it is distracting.
Yeah.
It really is very distracting.
and so you always give people, if we're working on a decision, you always give people a chance to say, does anybody want to talk about this? And then there's a general, does anybody want to talk about something's not on the agenda? I would just like to figure out a way to.
Well, I mean, obviously, you know, when we get to that point, we can just say, we look for hands.
Because if they were in the audience, they wouldn't, you know, well, most of them would not blurt out comments in the middle of the meeting.
No, they're not supposed to do that. And they're supposed to walk up to the mic.
Right.
So they're on, yeah.
And when they're on the chat, it's just, it's a little distracting.
Is that's a function we can do, is turn off the chat?
Yep.
Okay,
So
Let's get
some
some
municipalities do that.
okay. Well, we can confirm that at the organization meeting. Okay. All right, okay. Okay, council, did you want to report anything? Bridget, can I start with you?
I got nothing.
You got nothing? Okay.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
You don't want to say, I'll miss you?
Oh. Opportunity. Sorry, no, this has been lovely. Thank you. A lot of stuff over years of my life. No, it's been wonderful, and I'm like very much this cornball this year. I'm very honored because I think this is a very participatory town, and it makes it so much easier, and I think it makes it a more efficient government, which sounds kind of cold, and I don't mean it that way, but it is really great to represent a town that is so wonderful. Good, thank you to the 4 people who showed up.
Well, technically, it's only 2.
You realize that a parting gift is that you forever get to use honorable in front of your name.
No.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yes, apparently, some people do.
Precedent has been set.
Oh, cheers my LinkedIn.
And I hear Mayor Pro Tem hangs around a long time too.
Well, it's good because it's on the business card.
Derek, you know who you got?
I am looking forward to my first MML meeting in Ocean City.
How many
In
years?
9 years.
He heard I was going alone and he decided, you know, I just can't let Tracy just be the only representative of TOK and MML. No, we do flag videos now.
So anyway, I'll be looking forward to that, and Tracy and I can report back.
Yes. I'm looking forward to it. I'm also going to, as Darren said, going to MML, and actually Abby's going to MML. I'm going to take her to a couple of meetings. But I'll remind you all that we had applied to be one of the towns that would have a little 15-second video for advertising of Maryland municipalities, and they will be premiering the videos at the. You'll miss it, but I'm sure we can get them on YouTube.
I elected not to go so that I can be mayor pro tem. For 3 days.
I've promised him he can sign a check.
I just want to. This is where Susan's like, they're all digital now. Now, if you have those proclamations we've been working on lately.
I should have given you the audit
Nah,
thing to sign.
Oh my God.
damn.
Sorry, it just didn't have. Okay, we'll keep you in mind for the next one. Just 3 days I'm out of town. Would you like to report on anything?
Actually, one thing is for those families who have rising kindergartners in Kensington Parkwood and MCPS, they are desperate for you to start your registration process. You don't have to finish it with all the medical forms, but the biggest thing is June 30th is the date that MCPS looks at registrations and makes teacher allotments. And so if a bunch of registrations coming afterwards, they have to shoehorn them in to the staffing levels. So if you have a rising kindergartner, there's like 3 pieces of information you need just to get them initially registered, and that's all that KP is looking for right
Too early for Maya?
Too early.
Too early.
Too early.
now. Not
She is a genius, but too early.
Not Faji.
Yep, Haji's gone. Is he excited?
He's very excited.
Oh, cool.
He gets right.
I know, it's the bus thing. It's the bus. I don't know what it is about the bus. So, okay. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay.
We have a pedestrian bicycling Access and Safety Working Group meeting on Tuesday, coming Tuesday, 7 p.m. If anyone out there listening is interested in attending, if you haven't already gotten the information, email me. We're not sure exactly where it's gonna be, probably a restaurant outside somewhere, St. Paul Park.
Okay.
perhaps. And then the only other thing is, Matt, are you planning on giving an update on the Kensington Parkway? Okay, so we were starting to put together, or actually we had gone pretty far in putting together a Kim Lamphere Bicycle Network grant proposal with more Chevy Chase View, and the county Department of Transportation to study the feasibility of connecting the MARC station with the Purple Line and the Capitol Crescent Trail with a bike path and a walking path. It's in the bicycle master plan. But we decided to kind of pull back and not submit it because we weren't getting all of the support we needed from the county. And it wasn't due to lack of effort on your part, on our part, to get Director Conklin support and county support. But it was really just an issue more about staffing and having their dedicated time to really lead the grant. So we're gonna keep moving ahead and try to identify other ways to get the money or get some money and funding going this year, and we're gonna keep plugging away at it.
Well, just a couple of things from me. I do want to thank the council for their support for the National Gun Safety Awareness Day on June 3rd. Our meeting on the 1st was adopting the resolution declaring the first Friday of the month in June as the National Gun Awareness Safety Day, or Gun Safety Awareness Day. We had a nice turnout for the visual that the residents put together on the day after Memorial Day. I think that was the 31st. And that was a good turnout, and we had just the right number of people that came to set up the lights for Flint Park to turn orange on Friday night. And so that was very, apparently, I came later because we put it together when it was still light outside, so you really couldn't see the orange. And then I came back after 10, of course, nobody was there. And Darren said you came back earlier, and there was a nice little crowd there. So hopefully we'll continue to do this every year. Anyway, I also want to thank our election supervisors, Spencer Harrell and Martha Deal and Robin Watson for their time to work the election last night. So they do an excellent job. They had everything counted within an hour and about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, so many thanks to them. It's there's a lot of work involved, especially with the absentee ballots. So really appreciate that. And we did have there was 417.
Absentee, like one, like
113. Yeah.
Per quarter, yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mhm. So, and people were still dropping them in the box on the day of. Well, they weren't sure, but once you've got it, you can't. It's harder to vote if you've already asked for an absentee ballot and received it. So, so a lot of people were dropping. Yeah. So, anyway, we did have 4 voters that are the that can now vote. The non-citizen can vote, and all 4 did vote. So, yeah. I believe 3 were in person and 1 used an absentee ballot. So, yeah, it was nice. And they very much appreciated the opportunity to vote. So, I did want to pass on. We've got a little card from Mike Huntingslake. And this is regarding thanking us for their support, for our support for the SB 14 Sustainable Maryland Program Fund, which will provide funding to the municipalities or communities at some point to assist us in becoming a sustainable Maryland town. So I know, Nate, this was something that you were interested in.
Actually, I have a meeting with him tomorrow.
Okay,
Yeah.
good,
So,
good. Well,
Yeah,
that's
And
good.
they're always, he's always at MML, so.
Yeah.
Good chance to. say
So,
we
well,
should-
I can say hi
Yeah.
and get any literature that they
yeah, no, he's
want to pass
excited.
out.
It sounds like they're ready to work with us.
Okay.
So,
Good, good. All right, well, we need that, actually, that could be set as one of our goals.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna put in
For next year.
the organizational meeting.
Okay. Mhm. Okay, and is there different levels that you can
I
start
think-
small and work your way up, or?
It's a good question. I forget, there are a couple programs for this one. I'm not exactly sure, but I know that it's pretty flexible. So there are some things that are necessary and then there are some optional that you can piece together your score.
Okay,
We can go through like what we want to do and I think we'll probably want to put together a working group.
okay, so you'll have that information for the organization meeting? Okay, good. All right, well, I will talk to him too, and then I'll,
Great. I'll mention that to him too.
okay,
tomorrow.
I'll dare. Okay, all right, is everybody good? So we'll move down to, go ahead.
One last election thing. Matt, could you check with Spencer and find out about spoiled or disqualified ballots?
Oh, how many there
The
were.
number was 0.
I'm aware of one.
I think it was only, maybe one or two, I thought he
I'm
said,
definitely aware of one.
and I
It
think,
seemed high last time, and if we're getting it down to 0 or 1, that's great.
Last time, like last year or the first time we,
2020
was when we had all the mail.
Yeah.
That was when
Yeah.
we were sending them out to everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think some people put in a write-in or something, was that
Somebody
twenty
put
twenty?
in the same envelope.
Oh,
Or
right.
that,
Didn't use the other.
yeah.
Right.
like they
yeah,
So
so
people
we only
signed
have like, I think 2 of those, but, he wants to change the size of the envelope, he's thinking of that, so they're both can't fit in the same envelope.
Oh, that's a good.
Or something like that, but really, we didn't get that many of them this time, so.
Good, great. That's what I was hoping for.
It was a lot. That was it, that's, yeah, and the first time too, that people were receiving that. Okay, we did have one voter that there was a misunderstanding, they had registered late in the county. So they weren't on the county registration and, you know, by our charter, you have to register with the town if you've missed that deadline with the county. So I don't know if that's something we want to look at as a possibility of changing, to try to be a little bit more flexible. So,
And then
I
we
mean,
had 2 non-citizens that wanted to register after the May 31st, and they couldn't.
yeah, I mean, there has to be deadlines, but we don't have the option of doing a, what do you call the ballots? Yeah. So I don't know whether that's a possibility or something to look at. Yeah.
So six people potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I'm sorry.
well, you want to give people that opportunity, but so those are just things that, you know, we want to look at it, and tweak. I mean, there is a point where you do have to have that. So, and it also puts a little bit more pressure maybe on our election judges. So whether we have to add one more, which I don't think would be a problem. I think that's a particular job.
It is tedious to become an election judge.
Yeah.
Incredibly tedious.
Mhm.
We asked them, right? They said that they thought the numbers were fine, especially since Susan was so much.
Mhm.
I don't know. That was during the year that we had
now,
all mail-ins.
now the numbers dropped to
Yeah.
a quarter.
So they,
Yeah,
they can designate Susan or myself to help
yeah.
at the election, and they've never, well, it's recently given us for it. So,
Right.
Yeah, they're more than.
Well, I don't think 4 people would have been an issue, but if there's paperwork that somebody has to fill out, then it just takes time if somebody's. Anyway, it's just something to think about. We have that.
And Susan, you didn't have any problems with registering the non-citizens.
No,
Okay, great.
So far, so good.
Well, and their numbers did not change the election, you know, so. Good. All right, so let's move down to the town manager and staff. Matt?
Council approved resolution number R-15-2021 back in October. And the contractor is about to move forward, McLean Controls to upgrade the control system for the HVAC system in town. And their pricing is coming back a little bit higher. So in speaking with Attorney Ferguson, she stated that council could just make a motion on resolution. And we're just asking for a slight increase from what the council approved previously, covering the additional costs. So the proposal from McLean is still under the original cost, but we'd like to need a little bit of room just in case there's anything else they find once they
Change
start.
orders.
Pretty much, any change order that comes in, And they've already told us they're about 2 months behind on the installation.
Will they stick with this?
I'll stick with this price.
Okay.
So just a motion. would be-
Okay, council, do you have any questions about it?
Just, so if they're 2 months behind from today.
Today, so if we
August.
we told Mr. McLean that we, assuming the council would okay tonight, I'd send over the approved contract tomorrow. He said take about 8 weeks to get the materials.
Okay, then, how long to do the whole, I'm just thinking, you poor people, it's gonna be August.
Yeah.
Well, the air conditioning's working.
It's
But how long,
not-
is it all gonna be done in one day?
It's probably gonna take them a few days, if not a whole week.
Yeah.
But,
Best of luck.
we want to get the controls fixed before we can get the ducts.
Windows here.
Just bring a fan, we just make moving air.
Okay, that was,
Thank
They
you for
have
your
air
concern.
conditioning and braided warm.
They also didn't have climate change.
Yeah, this is true. Does anyone in the audience have a question regarding this resolution? Okay, I'm not seeing any hands. Member of the council want to make a motion?
so is it just to amend the original?
Yeah, it's just to amend the original from an amount not to exceed 16,600 to
Yep.
an amount not to exceed 17,000.
Right, I move that we amend resolution number R-15 2021 to increase the amount not to exceed from 16,600 to an amount not to exceed 17,900 due to material cost increase.
Okay, is there a second? Let Bridget do it. Come on.
Second.
She can say this was her last
My last
resolution second.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
You'll remember the McLean
That's
control
right.
contract.
Your first and last, what was your first one?
Lowering than it was.
Matt, do we have a frame we could put this in?
I know.
We do a proclamation.
We just signed it as first time. You got to kill two birds with one stone.
There you go. Okay, he has to write it too. Okay, number 2, Matt.
Neil Stallo, our town building inspector, and I met with CSI contractor for the veranda and parapet this morning. Everything's on schedule. They hope to have weather permitting the project done by July 1st. So the front entrance should be open by July 1st. And they think they can resolve the leaking issue that we had last Thursday during the downpours, just to seal it with concrete, so.
It's where they joined together. Yeah, there was quite a bit of water that came into the.
Yeah, I just also wanted to add, Bethesda chimney should be finished tomorrow with the chimney work. And then we'll be able to get the new hot water heater for the building once that's completed. And the street contractor is in town. They milled Lexington today. We're planning to mill a portion of Armory, Mitchell, and all of Fawcett through the rest of the week. And the paving will happen about 2 weeks after that. Hopefully we can get that done by early July.
And they'll do the speed hump later, is that
So
correct?
they'll come back after and do the speed hump, yeah.
Okay,
So, and we have speed humps going in different locations around town. We have 2 on Kensington Parkway that the council approved. We have 1 on St. Paul that the council approved. Replaced the 2 on Fawcett, and we have to move 1 on Frederick Avenue that is kind of obstructing a driveway apron that was put in many years ago.
And they're gonna do that in July.
So within the next 3 to 4 weeks. They'll put it in. So, and then the markings will come in pretty quickly after that. And then there's a subcontractor that will actually infill the crosswalks. That will come later this year.
Will the current speed humps get remarked?
They'll be, so the current ones will be milled out and then they'll install new ones.
No, just all the other ones around town where they're starting to fade.
Just the ones we have right now. We can do a separate contract.
Just a quick question about that, because when we were at the Chemgar event after the Edith Throckmorton event, and we heard it previously too, one of the number 1 issues is getting their speed hump marked
Okay.
again. And I know that's not our
Yeah.
jurisdiction, but if you have.
Well, I noticed the crosswalks they put in are already fading because they use
Yes, I
paint.
saw that last
They
night.
use paint instead of thermo.
Yeah.
Really?
This is the county, the
Yeah.
Army thing, I was like, I remember
So-
these. being here, and then-
They did that on Connecticut, like 6 years ago.
Across Baltimore,
Across Connecticut.
for Baltimore.
Yeah.
they just painted it.
They painted it, and it was like, but your room was kind of black, really. We should be bigger profits.
Yeah, I do sometimes.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so our crosswalks are, we use thermal, and the speed humps will be marked in thermal as well, so it'll last a long time.
Is there anything we can do when we talk to the county again about asking them for $10?
We can ask them to remark them.
It's the right stuff. Are they doing that to be cheap, or is it just? Okay. That's not good.
I mean,
All right.
we could probably mark the ones on Summit,
And call ours.
call them ours. I don't know if we should go in Canberra for the
Yeah.
speed hump though.
I mean, the county just put in an illegal sidewalk, so.
CSX
Well, we-
anyway.
I
Yeah,
don't think they're there, anyway.
well, they need to be there.
Well, I'll talk with the marketing company and see if they can give me a price, if it's reasonable. I'll let the council know. Maybe we can just.
Do the ones on Summit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those two that they did on the bridge and the right at Summit.
Okay.
And Apple.
And there's a little extra leftover being speed hump.
I need to talk to the mayor council. about that.
Please.
Let's see what it costs.
Yeah.
Let's see what the cost is. You can give us the package A and package B.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, let's just see what the cost is.
Good.
Well, quite honestly, we're thinking about doing the sidewalk in Kengar when we had the concrete people here, so we didn't have to pay for that.
Yeah, we actually got a price.
Yeah.
To do it ourselves, and then it was the DOT decided.
They stepped forward and did it, and then went cheap on the paint, so
Yeah.
let's just see what it costs.
Okay.
Okay. All right, very good. Anything else, Matt?
So I had.
I had a mayor meeting today, and we meet every month, and Michael Paler was our guest
Yeah.
speaker. So I had the opportunity to talk about the Summit Avenue extension. He was not aware that it had shifted
2 years.
2 years. So I don't know. I'm hopeful. He said a lot of, because I don't get into the politics, obviously, of the budget season, but he's going to talk to his people because he thinks it's a project worth doing.
Good.
So he would like to see it, get done. So he's going to talk to his people to see if they can't push it a little bit more with the county executive's office as well as, the council, who kept it in.
Yep.
They kept it in, and to make the budget work, unfortunately, they had to push it off a little bit, so, he seemed positive that his office could put a little bit, something behind it, so he's gonna get back to me on that, because I think that would be very helpful, particularly depending on, the markets back in.
Yep.
I think we ought to look at what the opportunity for public comment or our comment on that is, because the more we've learned about it and what it could do, to make it, to increase the buffer between there and Kengar, and to see if we can adapt the project so it is much more likely to spur economic development in that area. I think both of those would make the project much more appealing.
Well, I brought that up to him that, right now it's very, light industrial in that area, and there are opportunities there too, for redevelopment to bring in the housing that we're so, the county is so desperate at getting, and, our location is really good for, not as much for metro, but we are, we have good transit here for bus transit, and we have the amenities and things like that. So if they're looking for down county areas in which to provide, additional housing. So, that's not necessarily his, what he thinks about, but I think, maybe it's, I think we need to do some more lobbying, so that might be a goal that we put out.
Yeah, I'd like to see us take the sector plan with the idea of some of that extended and just sketch out some of the areas to what Darren was talking about where, mixed use can be brought in and mixed housing can be brought in, townhouses and other things that help create additional buffer. The bike master plan, those elements along the streetscape. Even crazy ideas, this is in the sector plan too, but the Kensington Volunteer Fire Department's, building at some point may age out and I work in Arlington and right in Roslyn, they did a unique project where they put a 30-story apartment tower, but the community amenity is they built a firehouse into the ground floor. And so, there's ways which these things don't have to be separate. And just bringing a little bit of thought and vision to all of that.
The whole area too, we talked about where it ends, and things came up in the council forum or the candidates forum, just including that split also. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, what is the right path forward for starting that dialogue back with there? Is it like working group?
It almost ought to be talking to planning, because I bet there are people that could kind of sketch out a rough plan.
A tool or something.
And I'm just, because you mentioned that the project in Arlington, that reminds me of this suggestion for the Chevy Chase Library.
Right.
It just have to be one story.
Well, which is what they have in Rockville. They have a library under an apartment.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I want to look about the fire station.
You must have some rules about the sirens.
They give me a fire pole to,
Yeah.
go down.
But should we put this as one of the items on the organization meeting?
Well, I think it would be a goal.
Yeah.
I think if we're going to, whether we're gonna have to continue to battle, keeping the extension in the CIP. And try to stop it, A, keep it in, but B, stop it from being pushed further and further and further where your kids are dealing with it.
Well, and to Dan's point, a goal is, when we've talked to certain people in the executive office who, they just talk about it as a road project, just adding.
It's just a road.
Just adding a road.
Yeah.
And it's not, right? This is coming directly out of our sector plan. This is all about redevelopment of that northwest quadrant of the town. But how, because if you're able to add the road, then you have a new streetscape. So it's not just facing Connecticut, you now have Summit. And then to the point of, it creates a buffer to the rear properties of Kengar that moves the closest building at least 60, if not 80 feet. And tree lined and bike paths, and so, but it would be good with planning to have somebody be able, that is a designer that sketch some of this out, because in our sector plan, it's just big blobs of.
Yeah, people need to visualize.
Yes.
and
And
you
you get residents excited about the opportunity and having them push the county council,
Yeah.
not just us, continue to.
Right,
So why don't I reach out to it too?
okay.
That's
That's
something
great.
they can do.
If it's something they could do, or they could recommend somebody who could do it, I don't know, what their capability is, but it would be great if they could look at the area. I know we have work to do on the end at Connecticut Avenue, figuring out the pedestrian crossing there, but, okay, thanks. All right, so you're tracking our goals there?
Yeah.
I wrote a
Yeah,
couple.
you guys are writing
I wrote
it
a couple.
Okay, so public appearances, your opportunity to speak on anything that's not on the agenda. Jack, I see a hand. Go ahead.
Thank you. First, I want to thank everyone who ran in the election. I thought the election was very upbeat and civil and very well done. Second, I'd like to thank Bridget for her service, her time as a council member.
Thank you.
This is the last one. And now for something completely different, I have 2 astronomical announcements.
Okay,
On the 14th, there will be a full moon, which is also a supermoon. We get 3 supermoons this summer. And on the 21st will be the summer solstice, which is the first day of summer.
okay.
That's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So for the record, we do have upcoming our Juneteenth event, which is going to be Saturday, June 18th. So positive thoughts for perfect weather. Something that we had yesterday would be great, so let's keep those positive thoughts going.
The rain date is the following day.
The rain date is the following date, which is Father's Day, but we hope people will still come out, because I know they'll get opportunity to spend time with their children, which is what fathers should be doing. And so I always said my kids.
We do the opposite.
My kids, they spend time with dad on Mother's Day and Father's Day. No, I mean, I did, yeah. Anyway, so I hope everybody will come out on June 18th.
12 to 4.
12 to 4, yes, and we have some other upcoming events. Also, we have the July 4th Bike Parade. Matt and I will be meeting with Mark Hudson this week to get that rolling along. Pretty similar events, we're not expecting too many changes, but it'll be very similar to previous events. And
Motion to up the ice cream budget.
I think we'll just do it. We'll just do it. And then we might have to take a loan out on the
Yeah.
building, but we'll just do it.
There's a lot more kids
There are a lot of kids, and the adults want ice cream too. What's
Yeah.
with that? Anyway, and also, what else we've got? We've got the Historic Society. They'll be having an event here in July, and then of course we have the Chamber Music event at the end of July. So, and of course the Kensington Historical Society concerts have started, and let me tell you, KP always brings a big crowd.
All the choral singers.
The choral singers, they always bring a big crowd, and I decided next year if they come back, I'm bringing the town sound system because I couldn't hear them. So I think she probably brought these little tiny little speakers that she uses in her classroom, because that's probably all she had. So had I known that, they could have been singing all the way across the railroad tracks with our little system that we have. So next year, I'll make sure we do that next year. Anyway, so okay, we have no ordinances, resolutions, or regulations. Was there anybody else? I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. You have to, I'm always focused on the people on TV. Thank you, Ann.
Hi, Ann Luther, Fawcett Street, and hi Jack, hi John. So I just wanted to join in the election conversation that I listened to all of you, and just first thank the staff, because I got a little bit of a glimpse of how much work it is, but I know everyone does a ton. Also thank the election judges, and also want to thank John and Nate for making it such a enjoyable civil process, and for everyone that supported the process. And I wanted to second the suggestions in the conversation we were having about how to increase participation, how to deal with unexpected things that happen. I've heard a number of stories, we all witnessed some stories of people who had some snafus, who expected to get here, couldn't get here on time, or, you know, misplaced the absentee application. And I know you cannot plan for every occurrence that could happen, but I do think, and looking at our numbers with 1,600 people registered, that we do have an opportunity to get more people registered and to do it sooner. I mean, also I forgot to specifically want to thank you, Connor, as well, for the signs and for the notices you're putting out regularly. I think that really helps. So I would love to explore ways that we can get more people registered, get more people engaged in voting. I know some of the people who turned out to vote, I believe it was their first time voting in a town election, and they were people that we met at the back to school block party at Kensington House. And so I think there is an opportunity to do a lot more outreach there. So I welcome the fact that you open that conversation today. I think it's important to always learn and think about how we can do better. Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
Another item.
I know, cool.
Organization meeting. Well, their election update,
The tweaking.
ordinance update.
Yeah.
reform.
Sounds like Ann is chairing the.
Yes, Ann. It's such a tradition.
Whatever you bring.
I thought they had to go on traffic.
No, that's you, but that's a blessing.
That's a blessing.
Yeah, mobility traffic committee, I think that's
MTC.
usually the one you get to start with.
But it's a good reminder that, you know, the first way to get registered for our election is to register with the county for county elections, and this is election season. So if you're not registered yet, make sure to register because the primary is July 19th. It is coming up extremely soon. Early voting starts as early as July 7th. And this is for the types of race of our county council, our state legislators, and delegates and senators, and even the gubernatorial. So.
Yes, so for example, today, just to continue that, I was texting Jamie Boston, the Juneteenth organizer, to ask if any of the organizations that are coming are planning on doing voter registration. So we're gonna have a ton of people there. Maybe not all of them are Kensington residents, but a number of them will be. So he's gonna check and see, but that might be, I mean, it's cutting it close, but it's still,
If you're on the register, you're on
Yeah.
the register.
right. So looking at ways where we already have events and then we could incorporate a voter registration table, I think is a simple thing that we could do well in advance of an election so that it doesn't become, time constrained and people miss out because of other things that are happening in their lives.
Well, I mean, worst case scenario, we could print a flyer of how you go about registering with the county. If we can't get somebody to man that table, we just have the information of where they have to go to register, right, to vote. Hopefully we can get somebody to sit at a table and do it, to
Yeah.
register people, but otherwise.
A QR code that takes them right to the county website. For
Yeah.
registration would be,
Yeah.
a low hurdle, high technology way to do it.
Thank you.
First time I used a QR code, I couldn't
Yeah.
figure it out for the life of me.
It was a good option.
I know, it was awful. The Hollywood Cafe Chinese restaurant couldn't help us. She finally brought us a real menu. She gave up. And then we learned how to do it.
shamed once by somebody
I know. I have now figured out QR codes. I have figured it out now.
She's not watching. Okay, so you can just like,
Yeah, camera.
Hold the
Yeah,
camera.
you just hold the camera and you tap. I was missing that tap part. Yeah. Anyway,
No one else from the public.
okay, no one else from the public has seen yet. So we just want to take a moment to thank Councilmember Bridget Hilsayet for her 4 long years on the council. So we have some little gifts for you. And actually, we have, if you came in person, you would get a little flag. So you get a flag. So, see, you miss out on the goodies when you stay home, so I'm gonna give everybody a flag. They are, they're new. So Ann, you'll get a flag too. There you go.
That is pretty cool.
So.
Big flags, Clean was asking it.
You
so
pay-
you're
you
thinking-
gotta
Pretty
pay.
pricey.
You gotta pay for that stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's well.
Can we
worth
give
it.
her a flag?
Just
too?
grab
No.
You got a flag.
See ya.
I can give her 2 of these.
I'll just, yeah.
Everybody else pays for their flags.
How am I gonna?
Councilmember
You
Henry.
suggested you could like.
And the very, no.
Inaudible.
Cut that out. Anyway, I did get cake. So we do have cake. So I'm sorry for those at home, Jack and
There's still
Jonathan.
time to get here.
There's no cake, but we do have cake.
Oh,
And,
should we adjourn the meeting?
Yes.
Actually, we can adjourn the meeting. We won't make any actions, we promise. So, yes, so, again, thank you, Bridget. I know how, it can be grueling and it can be, meetings that you're not expecting, things that come up.
Past the closing hour of Chipotle.
Yes,
And this was the weirdest 4 years.
there can be
of
late
county
nights,
government,
yes.
Local government. COVID was a weird
COVID,
time.
yeah, having a baby, and then I know your father was ill in your first term, and so you had, was that in the second
Yeah.
term?
Okay,
Okay,
so pretty jam packed.
okay,
Yeah.
so you had a lot going on.
Sure did.
You had a lot going on, so, you bared it well.
Well, thank you.
So,
Well, thank you guys make it much
Yeah.
easier.
anyway, so I'm sorry you never made it to MML, but I guess you have to be here 9
I
years in
think
order
I
to
did
do
1
it.
year. I went to the fall.
Okay, that's not the Ocean City.
Yeah.
That's,
Very good.
anyway, so is there a motion to adjourn?
See, we're all staring in
Well,
one direction.
yeah, there it is.
Did you like the motion?
Wave the flag. while
You want a second? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Uh,
Yay, thank you very much.